I'm kind of surprised to see you.
I'm not here to do a story, Ethel. Bob Reed asked me to keep an eye on the situation.
Ethel, this is Wes Leonard.
The Wes Leonard?
Well, if you mean the handsome bon vivant, the celebrated American journalist, I'm afraid I'll have to plead guilty.
Oh, I was thinking about a Wes Leonard that used to be short order cook around the corner. But he didn't write about politics like you. Hello, I'm glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yes.
I'm glad she's on our side.
Hey, can I take your coats?
Thank you.
You won't need them here. There's plenty of heat here.
So, Mrs. Green.
Yeah?
You are the head of Senator Ryan's neighborhood task force.
Right, right.
And I understand you got mugged last night.
Yeah, see, we had a meeting scheduled here for last night. And I took my little boy to his friend's house on the next block, and on the way home, there's this dog patch in front of one of the buildings we've been complaining about. Somebody called my name. The next thing I knew, 2 guys jumped me.
What, is that a knife cut?
No, that's just where I hit my face on the sidewalk, so.
And you're sure it wasn't a robbery?
Well, they did take my purse, but I found it in the next block, and all the money was still in it, all $22. No, it wasn't a robbery.
Okay, well, tell me about this rent strike. Now, has it had any effect at all, other than bringing out muggers and threatening notes?
Not yet. We still have the 5 buildings with no heat or hot water and no services at all. And tonight, all we want to do is let Mr. Powell know that we are not afraid.
Ethel, you know, Jack's got a lot of misgivings about this. So I talked to Bob Reed this morning, but he says that it's okay to tell Powell that we're not scared off, and to let him get the idea that Wes is at least interested in the column, and not to threaten him or alarm him, you know, any more than necessary.
How do you threaten someone just a little?
Hello, Powell.
Good evening.
I believe you know Siobhan Ryan. And these are 2 friends. This is Jack Pinelli and Wes Leonard.
What are they doing here? This is supposed to be a meeting for the landlord and the people who are trying to organize our tenants.
Well, it's a little different right now.
We simply want to say as calmly as possible that threatening notes and muggings are not going to scare us off. Your tenants are entitled to certain services, and the rent strike is going to continue until you provide them.
I don't know from muggings and notes, lady. I represent C&P, and we're here to listen to the complaints of the tenants.
So, in other words, you're denying any knowledge of the people who mugged Mrs. Green or of the threatening note to Siobhan?
That's right.
I find that quite remarkable, because the last time we met, Mr. Powell, you called me an outside troublemaker and told me that I would get in trouble myself if I didn't stop dealing in something that was none of my business.
Looks like maybe I was right, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, I just can't help being struck by the coincidence that you'd called me an outside troublemaker. And this note that I got says, "Troublemakers get into trouble. Stay out of other people's business."
I told you before, I don't know nothing about no notes or any muggings. But I will tell you this is a dangerous neighborhood. And outsiders that come up here looking to make trouble usually find trouble for themselves. And I don't care who their brothers are, who their friends are.
Now, you see, to me, that sounds remarkably like a threat.
Oh, does it really?
In today's episode, the role of Delia Ryan Coleridge will be played by Robin Milan.
Hello, darling. I've just been over with Jill. It's not good.
The pain, you mean?
Yes, and Edmund. We were talking quietly together, at least I was talking. And I thought she was listening, and there were the tears streaming down her face.
Oh, John.
I'm so sorry.
Annie took me for a long walk down by the river. And her joy after what you're doing about the Cleary farm cheered me up for a bit, but I can't seem to shake it. Everything I do seems to remind me of little Edmund.
Wish there was something I could do to help.
It's just going to take time, John, that's all. I guess I better check on dinner.
Hi, Johnny. Thank you. I just had the most wonderful shopping spree. You won't believe it. Oh, gosh. So I thought that I'd come in here and check on everyone and check on little Johnny. Oh, which reminds me, these are for him.
Well, thank you very much, Dee. I'm sure he'll love them.
Ah, good. Did I tell you that my commodities are up $90,000?
They keep going up and up. You ever worry maybe the market will wipe you out someday?
Why should I worry? I mean, the only thing I worry about in the morning is when I wake up, is there enough closet space left, you know? Oh, God, it's wonderful to wake up in the morning and know that you never have to work again a day in your life.
Actually, there's a little news around here maybe you don't know, Dee. I'm putting up the money so that Maeve's family back in Ireland can keep the farm they all grew up on. Enough to get the place back in working order.
Well, that must just excite Maeve to death.
Yeah, she's pretty pleased.
Oh, boy, I can't believe that. You know what? Sometimes I think that I married Roger because he reminds me so much of you.
Roger reminds you of me.
I mean, like, you do things for Maeve. You know, we were talking about going to the Bahamas for the weekend. And, oh, maybe renting a yacht or something. Don't you think I could use maybe a little color here?
We could all maybe use a little color, Dee.
But a winter vacation. Ah, that's for the rich people. That's very chic. I think I'll call myself a Rockefeller. How do you like it? Rockefeller.
You know, as a matter of fact, Maeve is going on a winter vacation herself, which she richly deserves.
Oh, really? Where?
Well, I'm sending her back to Ireland with her sister Annie for a visit.
Ireland. Wow, that's fantastic.
So you see, there are people besides the Rockefellers that can afford a few luxuries now and then.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I guess she's pretty upset about Pat and Faith breaking up, huh?
Really couldn't say, Dee.
No, it's okay. It really is okay. I mean, I know that Tom is coming home with Faith. The cleaning crew was there, and they made up 2 separate bedrooms today.
How do you know all that?
Well, there was this noise in the house, you see. And I thought maybe there were burglars or something, so I thought... Is Tom all right now? I mean, in his head. Is he okay?
To the best of my knowledge, Dee.
Well, I guess you're not going to tell me anymore, huh? Okay. Okay. How's it going? Well, will you send everyone my love?
Sure.
And tell Maeve that I hope she has a wonderful vacation in Ireland. Bye.
You take care of yourself now, Dee.
Yeah.
just had the most terrific idea.
This whole situation is very interesting from the point of view of a reporter who's concerned about the way people live in the city.
You gonna write about it?
Possibly. You see, in order for the cities to survive, they have to be clean, pleasant, safe places for people to live, I think.
You're not gonna sell many copies writing about that stuff.
No, but I might with a piece about absentee landlords who don't give a damn about the people who live in their buildings.
What are you gonna write about tomorrow?
Well, maybe I'll write 2 columns.
Write 5. What are you gonna write about next week? Big deal. Let me tell you something, what you don't understand. Most people get bored reading that stuff day after day. C&P Realty has maintained all along that we're willing to help any tenant with any complaint they got. So there's your story, Mr. Leonard. What are you gonna do?
I'm a lady, so I won't tell you what I think about that.
You're talking about old buildings. Boilers break down.
Boilers also get fixed. Some boilers work all winter.
God bless them.
Mr. Powell, I'd be interested to know just exactly who this C&P Realty is. Can you give me some of the names of some of the officers? Just.
You're gonna have to call the office for that kind of information.
Uh-huh. Well, can you tell me, is it a large company or a small company?
Well, it all depends on what you mean by large or small.
Uh-huh. Well, would you say it had more than 5 buildings?
Again, you're gonna have to call the office for that kind of information.
Well, I would do that. If I called, who would I talk to there?
You talk to a secretary down there. I'm sure she'll help you.
Uh-huh. And what would her name be?
I don't remember. She's new.
Oh, come on, Pyle. We can get this information. This is ridiculous.
Hey, back off. And listen to me. I got a statement for the press. Number 1, I came down here to hear tenants' complaints, not be cross-examined. Number 2, I don't know anything about muggings or notes, and neither does anybody at C&P Realty. But I will tell you this. People that come up here, outside instigators looking to free the world, are only asking for more trouble. And Mrs. Green, I would disassociate myself from these people if I were you. And when you're ready to talk, really sincerely, honestly ready to talk, without having any newspapermen or senators' sisters hanging around, you call me. You know where to reach me.
Tough cookie. So much for the power of the press.
You damn idiot. Siobhan, you should have stuffed a sock in his mouth. One thing Bob asked you was not to challenge, not to threaten Pyle.
Yeah, but I think he should know that we're serious about taking that company to the newspaper.
Okay, Ethel. He knows. Question is now, what's he gonna do about it?
To tell you the truth, I don't think it impressed him much.
Well, for your sake and Ethel's and all the people who live in those buildings, I hope you're right.
Hey, Finelli, what are you afraid of?
Retaliation, Leonard, retaliation. Not against you or me. Maybe Ethel and her friends. Now, maybe I'm wrong. And maybe C&P Realty is run by a bunch of clucks who too damn dumb to know that they'll monkey around with a United States senator and a widely read columnist. Or maybe I'm right. And they're just too powerful to care. In which case, you'd better watch out.
Well, are you going to write about Mr. Powell?
Yeah, I think I will.
You gotta be kidding.
No, I'm not. But I need a little background on this, so why don't we talk about it over dinner?
Oh, smooth, Leonard.
Well, no, the dishonorable intentions aside, if I'm going to write about this thing, I got to know something about it, so. All right?
Okay. You want to come?
No, thank you.
Well, that's all right. We'll be fine. Always nice to see you, Jack. And don't worry too much. I'll be sure to keep a real close eye on Siobhan for you.
Yeah, I bet. Ethel, look, please don't worry about this Pyle. Okay. I think it's just maybe a lot of hot air. Jack, see you tomorrow.
Sure.
Bye-bye. You know, Mr. Finelli, my daddy had a hunting dog, and it had 28 wrinkles all across his brow. I know because I used to count them many a times. And I got to tell you, right now you look much more worried than I've ever seen that dog.
Ethel, do me a favor, huh? You and Eric stay home tonight. Keep the doors locked.
Well, go anywhere.
Good. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Sure enough. Well, bye.
Well, now, darling, I know how much the Cleary farm means to you.
Oh, yes, John. And that's why I'm so grateful for your generosity.
Well, I was thinking,
What?
with Edmund's passing and all the sadness we've had around here, a change of scene might be the best thing in the world for you.
A change in scene? What kind of change in scene, John?
Well, I was wondering if, when Annie goes back to Ireland, you might like to go along for a visit.
Oh, John.
No, it's like a winter vacation.
Oh, but John, I mean, can we afford it? I mean, after all the money that you promised it for the farm?
Darling, we can afford it. It isn't that much more. Well, what do you think?
I think that I am married to the most wonderful man in the world.
You like the idea, then?
Like it? I love it. I love it. What made you think of it?
Well, I've been worried about you. And troubled because there didn't seem to be anything I could do to help. And then, out of the blue, came this idea that there was something I could do.
Oh, I haven't been there in years. And to go with Annie and see Redmond and Maggie and the children and to make plans for the farm. Oh, darling.
I thought you'd like it.
Oh. You know, John, the first time I laid eyes on you, I knew that you were the man for me. But I didn't know how truly good and kind you are.
I should have sent you back to Ireland years ago.
No, this is the perfect time. I mean, for me to go and to help Annie, and I do want to get away. Do you think it's all right? I mean, with Jill in the hospital?
Oh, come on, darling. There are people here who love Jill, and, well, who'll worry about her, take care of her. Right now, I want you to take care of yourself.
John Ryan, I love you.
I love you, lady.
Oh, John, I'm still so thrilled. I can't believe it. Hello, darling.
Maeve, Johnny.
Well, how's the Star reporter tonight?
Hi. How's Ryan?
Oh, we had a lovely day. I thank you for it. Do you want to be picking her up now?
Oh, I'd better before it gets too late.
Oh, well, she's upstairs with Mrs. Shaw. Reading a story to her and little John. I'll get her.
How'd it go?
What?
The meeting with Pyle.
Oh, Kevin told you, huh?
Yeah, he told me the whole story, including the threatening letter to Siobhan, what Bob said this morning, and your feelings in the matter. Now, I haven't said a word to Maeve.
Yeah, well, I think that's just as well.
Well, what happened?
Well, Siobhan told Pyle that they're gonna go ahead with the rent strike. Wes Leonard shot off his big mouth about writing a column, even though he hasn't one clue in the world who's behind the whole thing.
The realty company, Jack.
Yeah? Yeah, well, who's behind a realty company that doesn't seem to care if they tangle with a United States senator or a popular columnist?
So what's Siobhan supposed to do?
Back off. Back off until the cops and the housing authority find out who the hell's behind this?
And leave 60 families without heat or hot water?
Well, better no heat and hot water for a week or so than a firebomb or a little arson, Johnny.
So, you think Siobhan should just quit because she gets a threatening note and leave all her friends to the mercy of those thugs, huh?
I think I know. Well, your daughter inherited her dumb streak.
There's nothing dumb about my daughter, and I happen to think you're worrying about this just a little bit too much.
Okay, Johnny, okay. Siobhan's great. Real credit to you, a regular Joan of Arc. Only hope she doesn't end up in the East River along with that fine friend of the Ryan family, Wes Leonard.
No. I understand Jack's point of view, but I don't agree with it. I mean, I think public knowledge of the situation in those buildings is going to be protection for the tenants.
I think so, too.
Right.
I hope so.
Well, Jack is a good journalist. He's next to the best. But he's by nature just conservative.
Whereas you...
I am the impassioned, emotional soul you see before you. Siobhan, I really did want to issue an official apology.
Apologize for what?
For getting you in trouble during Frank's campaign.
I actually forgave you a long time ago.
What?
I thought you were doing your job, and you did fess up.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad. Well, why didn't you tell me earlier? You didn't answer my notes. You didn't acknowledge the flaw. I sent a fortune worth of chocolate to your house.
I said I forgave you. Doesn't mean I trusted you.
I'm only devious on the job.
Oh, never in your personal life?
No, well...
You remind me of what those Victorian novels I used to read call a vile seducer.
Only when given the chance.
Oh, well, we'll just have to be very careful about that then, won't we?
What, you mean we're going to get together for reasons other than your ulterior motives, like making me write an article about Mrs. Green and her friends?
Ah, Sly Fox. I don't see why we shouldn't see each other once in a while, under very controlled circumstances.
That one that's here. Wonderful, wonderful, good news. Now we're getting started.
What is this, another one?
Yeah. Well, I can't but believe that given enough time and enough wine, that you won't become convinced that I am irresistible.